Did you know that you can connect with the energy of whales and dolphins for healing and expansion? Hi, it's your host Sheryl Sitz with another conscious conversation on exploring possibilities. We broadcast on Apple Podcast, Google Play, other popular podcast platforms, and youtube.com/Sheryl Sitz. Joining us in just a moment are interspecies communicator and soul healer Laurie Reyon and one of her graduating students with whom I discovered this work and received my healing session, Herena Julia. First, I want to mention that show creator, producer, and all-around tech genius, Mario Rosales, has a fabulous new project he's been working on for the past, 5 years. Tell us about it, Mario.
Well, what I have come up with, I call it Astro Fractals, and that's Astro, A-S-T-R-O, like astrology. And why is it an Astro Fractal? It's very simple because it uses your birth date, your birth time, and your numerology of your name. With that, I put it into this formula that I worked on for a while.
Yeah.
And it creates a fractal and it colors it and it gives you this beautiful portrait of you. And at first, when I got it, it's like, what was it? What's it for? Well, if you meditate in front of it, take it to a ceremony, or if you just want to look at it like a piece of art, it's beautiful. You can look at it at my website at Astro, A-S-T-R-O, Fractals, Fractals, astrofractals.com, and that'll take you directly to my website. The base package is a digital picture of it, and then I have options that go higher in price for different types of things, 8x10s, tapestries, you name it, it's whatever you want.
And they are beautiful. Astrofractals.com. Way to go, Mario. I love it.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody's fractal looks like.
And you even have famous people on there. So check them out, astrofractals.com. Now for today's guests. Laurie Reyon, found online at lauriereyon.com, is an internationally recognized interspecies communicator and soul healer who acknowledges cetaceans as the ancient beings and master healers on our planet. Laurie is a collaborating author of the best-selling book Whales and Dolphins Forever, and facilitates spiritual cetacean journey retreats around the world. She founded the Whale and Dolphin Energy Medicine School, where Herena Julia has been studying for her certification in whale and dolphin healing and DNA recalibration. That's actually how I found it. Herena has worked 20 years with therapy clients in the mental health field, and now she brings Reiki and this beautiful work into her role as an awakening life guide and new earth healer. You can find her online at awakeninglifeguide.com. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome. Thank you. We're delighted to be here.
We're delighted to have you. This is an interesting topic, and we've not talked about the whales and dolphins before, yet I have felt a deep connection with them throughout my healing journey. So I'm glad to have you on that we can explore this a little more. Herena, I met you through our Facebook group, Harmonic Convergence 333, when you shared that you were studying this, and the session that I had with you was so moving. So tell me a little bit about how you first became intrigued with working with whales and dolphins.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sheryl, so much for having us on the show. So my connection with the dolphins goes back to a really, really young age where I was pretty much in love and fascinated with them. I really longed to be around them, and I kept thinking about what I wanted to do when I grew up so that I could just be around them. As I got a little older, I realized that actually being a trainer to captive dolphins didn't really resonate with me. So I kind of let go of that desire, and I believe that it was just something that wasn't meant to be. So I went along throughout my life in the mental health field, assisting humans. And several years ago, I came across a video of a woman talking about how she was called by the dolphins to connect with them. And they played a video of wild dolphins where you could really see them up close. And I had an immediate, overwhelming emotional response where I just started sobbing and sobbing. And, it felt like I was releasing a lot of sadness and grief. But at the same time, it felt like I was perceiving the dolphins as long-lost family.
Wow.
And this was really a turning point for me. I had already been well into my awakening process, and I began incorporating dolphins in my meditations. And this led to even more emotional and visceral sensations each time I connected to them in this way. Then, about 3 years ago, I had a reading with someone who said that part of my life purpose was to reconnect humans with the whales and the dolphins. And she also shared that I had a very deep bond with them that actually went as far back as the golden age of Lemuria. And of course, this made perfect sense to me, but I still didn't know how I was going to connect the humans with the whales based on my current career and you know what I was doing at the time, until a year ago when I met Laurie. And she shared about her whale and dolphin energy light medicine school. So I signed up, and it's just been an amazing, life-changing journey of really coming back to myself. During our trainings in the school, my classmates and I gave dozens and dozens of sessions to each other on an ongoing basis. So we really got to experience what it was like to receive the energies and the healings directly from the whales and the dolphins in a really profound way.
Yeah.
So during this year of training, I've just felt huge shifts within me. There's been a lot of letting go of limiting belief systems and fears that I've been carrying around my whole life, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, there was a revelation of who I really was, mostly as a spiritual being within a human body.
Right.
And it's just been very profound. It continues to unfold. I experienced not only improvement in my emotional and physical health, but also positive changes in my day-to-day, my relationships, how I viewed the world. And so now, as a facilitator and with my clients, I'm witnessing these healings and major shifts within them. And what I hear all the time is them telling me that it feels like coming home.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear this, I know that I am now fulfilling this life purpose of reconnecting the humans with the whales and the dolphins.
Absolutely. Well, and I doubt you're the only one that is feeling that Lemurian connection too. I mean, there's the people that you attract working with whales and dolphins are going to be more people that feel the way that you did, probably, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I've found.
That's wonderful.
Time and time again.
Well, I want to bring on Laurie so that she's not just sitting back there. Laurie, welcome again. And so you actually felt guided to create this school where people like Herena who want to work with the whales and dolphins can come and become certified. How did you make this connection? I know it's through a cat, but I haven't given that part away yet.
Yeah. I was born, with I guess you could say, with my third eye open. I was very telepathic with animals, but the thing is, I thought everyone else was too. So most of the time I was confused because I grew up in rural Nebraska and had a real special gift with horses during those years. And I didn't understand why people would use words like break the horse or, they would feel the need to contain the animal, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to just speak to them.
Right.
So I started to realize I was different, then, and would work with that energy. And it became evident that people would say I had a special gift with animals, but particularly with horses that had not yet been broken or, hadn't been ridden yet. So that was clue number one. And it led me to follow a path where I felt like the most important thing to me were the animals, and that I wanted a life path with the animals. And the only thing that's really in the books in those days was veterinary medicine. So I came to California when I was 17. I actually traveled with my horse, and I was a truck rider. And I ended up staying out here and, finishing high school out here in California. And moving on into what, I figured would be an entertainment career of some kind, working with horses. But it led me to opening and studying dance, really, and performing arts. I really wasn't happy with the teachings of the veterinary school. When I went to college, and I didn't know why. I loved the animals, of course, but I didn't like the surgery. I didn't like the cages. I didn't like the euthanasia. I didn't like the drugs, And I'm not being disrespectful at all. I know veterinarians have a great purpose here. It just wasn't my calling. And so I was just unhappy and went back to really dancing and choreographing and doing all that for the next probably, 15 years. And still my whole life was surrounded with dogs and cats and horses, my own, but I didn't really understand that would be a life path. So in 94, I had a near-death experience and things fell apart, which is, I don't really believe there's any accidents at the time. Of course, it was very challenging, but my family suggested I go down to Baja, which is, south of San Diego. And this is where I'd always vacationed and loved to be. And I had this little beach house, and the dolphins came every day to my house, every day, not some days, every day.
Wow.
And I was in a state of despair, and not really very open to it. But my cat, who was with me, was always very unique, and I had a lot of cats. And he would tell me, as we were talking, you need to come out here and talk to these dolphins, and they want to teach you things. And I'm like, why would they want to do that? It's substituted. But over time, I did break through, and I started to hear their voices and kind of work through the energy of what originally were just headaches when I would first try. But I found out that the dolphins are very, very interested in humans on a one-on-one basis, that they're very interested in our personal lives, and that they have amazing gifts. Only recently, since maybe 2008, have discovered the real power behind them, which is their ability to actually calibrate our DNA. And that's, of course, with the human giving permission for that. They can change our dormant DNA. And they really are the epigeneticists of the world. But my real first communications opened up with them, I would say, during the late 90s when I was down there, just living with them and making friends with these 3 dolphins that really kind of became my teachers.
That's so awesome. One thing I want to touch on after listening to both of you ladies share your background stories, there are a lot of people right now that are going through shifts in every aspect of life, which always includes, how do I want to earn a living? How do I want to show up in the world? How do I want to bring my gifts forward and make a difference, whatever? And we hear in both of these stories and in stories week after week, there haven't been any accidents on our journeys. Everything comes together to feed into and lead us to our calling. So I think you're both really an encouragement to that, whatever path you were on led you to right where you were supposed to be, right?
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, even if you can't see it at the time. Well, and I think the animals are the greater body of healers and teachers, and for those that choose to activate their telepathy, anyone can do it. It just takes practice, And a lot of our school is about that. It's opening the heart connection, which is the creative force in our body, right? It's the organ where the solution energy lives, and move out of the mind. The mind has lots of things to do that are important, but making decisions isn't really one of them. The heart needs to do that, it needs to bring in the vibration of love. And the animals live in the heart. They don't have karma. They don't make choices about to go right or left or what's right and wrong. They simply follow the path of love because they're in stewardship to us. That's the walking, talking, swimming angels, And they always make positive, loving choices, and they're showing us in every way how to do that if you're paying attention. And furthermore, they live in what we call the pod mind, which is the consciousness of living for the good of the many, not the self. So humans are slowly coming back to that, I think, to sustainable living and caring for each other as brothers and sisters, as we all are brothers and sisters, and letting go of our differences and honoring the journey of the soul.
Absolutely. I had a cat that was a huge part of my awakening process, and he just transitioned. I guess it's been about a year now, and I'm still kind of getting used to having him in a different form. I still communicate with him, but yeah, they can be amazing teachers for us, and they have so much to say, and it really takes that conscious choice to listen and practicing listening and being open to it, and they have so much wisdom. They live in gratitude every day. They live in the present moment. That's what we're all trying to remember how to do.
Yeah, so much of our lives as humans is limited because of our belief systems. Our perceptions, our awareness are so limited because of what we've been taught. So if you're willing to overcome that and then, move through the anger when you find out almost everything you've been taught is a lie, then you can come to spirituality, which is where the truth is.
Right.
And you can forgive, because the people that have been your teachers and the people that are in government and medicine and, on, maybe they're just doing the best that they can. But from the animal's perspective, we have a long ways to go to come through that, to come back to the truth, come back to the heart, and to treat each other with kindness and compassion, and move out of the energy of competition, and feeling that there's a lack in your life in some way. There's no lack. The animals teach us to connect directly to source energy, and source energy is never going to run out. It's a matter of you stepping into the waterfall of source energy, right?
Right.
It's like being connected all the time, and the dolphins and whales are such great examples of that because they have so much experience. The whales have been here some 300 million years. We can't even imagine that. And the dolphins have been here some 30 million years. So it's all far beyond what we can conceive of. You're just in the presence of these dimensional doctors, that have capabilities of multidimensionality and healing that would really I just call it the miracle zone because we're not yet capable of understanding that. We're still evolving, to that. So a lot of what we do in the school is surrender. We just surrender to their expertise and their teachings, and we work with our ability to channel them so that we can hold the light for them to do the amazing work that they do. And again, remember, nothing can be done for you from anyone, including the angels, unless you give permission. So it's a lot about teaching people to open to give permission for change to occur in their life, real positive change that's sustainable.
I want to mention that this work is also available remotely. So you are on both coasts of the U.S. and I'm in the middle, and somehow we've connected and done this work that we've been able to come together on this show. Herena, I had 2 different sessions. I had a healing session, and then I had the white whale DNA recalibration.
Yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. That was just amazing.
They're teaching us about light body. Yeah. Over time, the white whales have given us templates. They've come into my office and, said, sit down and write this down and, we're going to teach you. And so for years, people said to me, because I was doing this alone, just on faith, and seeing the miracles, you need to create a school. You need to teach other people to do what the whales are teaching you. And I'm like, well, I didn't have any idea how I would do that. I had a lot of resistance because there's no 2 sessions alike, right? So how would I format that, or how would I create a manual, But over time, I surrendered to it, and now we're in our 3rd year, and they helped me create the manuals, which have some structure and have many channels on how to be, I think the whole first meeting, Herena would agree, 3 months or so are in just getting our bodies ready to hold this kind of light, to be a conduit for it, to be in the room with them when they're working, it's amazing. But not so much knowing how it's done. Only in the last 2 years has there been some scientific proof of what we're talking about, because the dolphins, of course, are teaching about 12 strands of DNA, and science only sees 2, 12 templates of light body, and, science doesn't even really recognize the light body or the Merkaba teachings, but yet they're there. But Dr. Emoto, who many of you know, was a Japanese scientist who proved the sentience of water by photographing the crystalline structure of water and seeing the changes that occurred in the water molecules when there was joy or happiness in the room. When we said words of blessing or we played beautiful music, the water crystals turned into like snowflakes, beautiful crystalline energy. So that's scientific proof that our water body is changing into a crystalline structure, which are the teachings of the whales. And if we play, let's say rap music or say negative, hateful words, the water crystals collapse and it looks like tar, So when you think about that teaching alone is now scientifically proven. And then I work with Dr. Todd Ovakaitis from time to time. He's part of the Cryon team, and he's a worldwide recognized and like a premier scientist. He's invented so many things that have helped the planet. And he worked with Dr. Emoto before he passed, and they proved that the humpback whale sounds, which is what we use in our school, is the most powerful healing sound in the world. That the whale sounds were the only sound that was capable of healing the toxic Japanese water. The Japanese water in Tokyo is so filthy. And only the whale sounds was able to clear that water. And further, the water then became infused with star tetrahedrons, which is the living Merkaba. It's the sacred geometry of our living Merkaba, which is, of course, what the whales work on, is restoring our light body. So there is scientific proof. We're going to be making a YouTube and really sharing that knowledge with the world, because so many people still want scientific proof, and now it's there. So
isn't that wonderful that science is catching up?
A little bit, yeah.
So, Herena, how do you bring this to work with your clients? How do you see this all coming together? Instead, sometimes I think when we take on these new skills and add to our repertoire, then we're not sure how to blend it. Do you already see that coming together for you to greater serve your clients?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Actually, the clients that are drawn to me now are ones who are already on the awakening path and asking these questions about their life purpose, how to live in joy and peace. So they're already drawn to me, and this is just like a natural next step is what I'm seeing. And I usually play dolphin sounds or whale sounds in the background at times during sessions, and that kind of like piques their interest. And I talk about the healing benefits of the humpback whale sounds, and a lot of them have then opened up to wanting to have more information, and of course they know that I'm doing this. So it's like a session, and it's just unfolding naturally. So it hasn't really been a drastic change from, a traditional type of psychotherapy, because I never really did that, to, this whole other world that, most people don't know about. It's been very a flow of transition.
That's wonderful. So these sessions are available that can be done. We did ours through Zoom and it worked perfectly. So you can literally do it anywhere, and you can have activations, you can have healings, and with all of this, it's just expansive work. There is not working with the dolphins and whales that you don't expand yourself. And that's just the gift of it all. I wasn't sure what to think of it when I started to do my session, and I became just so emotional, and it's like, wow, okay. That's kind of the way I've been on this path, because since my awakening years back, I'm just curious. I want to experience something. To me, the proof is in the pudding. I don't care how it sounds or if my conscious mind wants to believe it or not. I want to experience it and see what I feel. And that's my barometer. And I felt this. So I know, and I know I have past life stuff that's connected with it. So it was really cool to have the experience. But you can also go and swim with the whales and the dolphins. You do these retreats, right? Can you tell us more?
I do. And just coming back to what you said about Zoom, we've had people, we're starting our third year, and we're enrolling now for the third year of the Whale and Dolphin Energy Medicine School. Module 1 starts on April 5th. But all the classes are held on Zoom, and they're recorded, and they're posted on a private webpage. So people can participate in all time zones in all countries. And it's worked well, even with people in Australia and the UK. And, we've had, from the very first year, we've had people internationally participate and do and I didn't know, would they do just as well not being in the class? And they did, So they would contact me privately if they had a question, but they were well able to keep up and do the homework and expand. So, but yes, this is actually leaving tomorrow. This is my 10th year of creating retreats where people can swim with dolphins and whales, and I'll be in Hawaii. I'll be on the Big Island. And again, our 10th annual, we call it Expand Your Consciousness Retreats. And then it'll be my 4th year going back to Bimini in June 1st through the 6th, where you can swim with the Atlantic spotted dolphins. And we have our own boat, and we have our own captain and our own chef, our own hotel. It's a bucket list trip, really. It's just absolutely amazing. And we teach during the retreat a lot about what we're discussing. We do a lot of healing work, off the boat too, so that people can start to understand how to shift and change when we're out of the water with them. The dolphins and whales are multidimensional. Well, we are too, but they're completely aware of it, and they know how to come to you energetically and can be there in just a moment to assist you. And then further bucket list trips is in September, be my second year taking a group of people to Morea. Now, that's the island that's near Tahiti, and it's illegal there to swim with the humpback whales and the dolphins.
Wow.
It's not legal in the United States, like in Hawaii, to swim with the whale. Mm-hmm. Country is a bit prohibitive. So we go there, and actually it's the most beautiful island I've ever seen, into the tropics, and it's off the charts. That's September 12th through the 19th, which all of these you can find on our website. So pretty exciting.
Well, and I'm just guessing here, but I know for me, water has been a great conductor to help me with my psychic abilities and ability to connect and meditation and all of that. Whether it's a bath or a waterfall or a lake or a swimming pool, the more I can be in water, and of course the ocean, but I don't live at the ocean. It's not that far, but with traffic, it can be a nightmare. So you go to unwind and then you sit in traffic for 2 hours home.
You're living in a water-based body. That's why.
But so I would think that for anyone that finds challenge some other way, being able to join you and actually get in the water with these amazing beings.
It's pretty awesome.
Wow.
I have to be honest, I'm very addicted.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine.
I love to get back in the warm tropical water, and the dolphins just come swimming over, and they surround you, and, they tune you up as they're loving you and swimming with you.
Wow.
Really amazing. We've seen, miracles outside of the water, but even, in the water as well. It wasn't that long ago, there was a woman who came to kind of debunk dolphins in captivity, which is not something that I normally participate in, but I understand that there are dolphins that choose to do this. They're sort of ambassadors, sort of like the zoo animals are, Mm-hmm. And one of the trainers does, kind of an energy healing that's not really open to the public, but she asked the woman if she wanted to get in the water the next day and just float with the dolphins. And she said, sure. And so when the session was over, she was able to, I forgot to say she was in a wheelchair. She walked out of that session, being able to walk, and now she only walks with a cane. And this was someone who did not believe, okay? And she came to say that, they're just fish in the sea, they're not that intelligent or whatever. She was going to debunk it. And now she's a testimonial, so.
Those are the best
the dolphins will reach you and the whales in ways that, you and I cannot understand, because they can scan your body and they scan the Akashic records, which is the recorded journey of your soul over every lifetime. So you're talking about somebody with millions of years of experience, and to them it's nothing to look at you and to see all the things that are really wonderful about your mastery, your enlightenment, and also to see all the places you're blocked. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and we talk on this show with all of our guests about how we really believe that we have all of these abilities. All of us have all of these abilities, and it's our mind that gets in the way. And these creatures don't have that in the way, and they've had all these years of practice and experience, and so they're very awakened and very in tune, and they can see where we shut ourselves off. And that's such a beautiful gift to share with us. Yeah.
They're teaching us, again, to come back to the heart, and the brain will eventually develop and become a very powerful organ. It's a ways down the road, The brainstem, if you look at it, is huge. I mean, they have all these millions of years where they've worked on their brain, and their brain has many capabilities, including the ability to send out a pulse. They call it sonogenetics, and they can scan the area around them, and they receive a movie back. It's like a visual movie. And I've had many times the dolphins share that with me. I was just in Cancun in December, and I was in the water with this dolphin, and he kept showing me my living room. He was telling me how great the school is, and me sitting in the living room teaching people. Some people in the local area could come, to classes here, or online, and he kept showing me exactly what it looks like to sit in my living room and take class. And he was just telling me how proud they all are of us, and that he was like a cheerleader, for the work we're doing. It was like, I thought, how could this dolphin in Cancun know what my living room looks like? Then I realized, oh yeah, they know everything.
Wow. So can you explain at all how you feel like they heal us? What is actually taking place? Is it through their song, through the vibrations of their song, or the vibrations of just their energy?
The whales and dolphins, it's different. The whales are the living presence of what we call the violet flame. Have you heard of the violet flame?
Yes.
It's a gift, really from God, that was given to Venus, and then years and years and years ago it was given to us here on planet Earth, and we abused it. That was during the time of Atlantis. So when we were coming back after the fall from grace, everybody wanted it back, and Source Light, that said, no, you abused it, so you're going to have to earn it. So one of these great beings, Sanat Kumara, some of you may know, is the leader of the Arcturian fleet. He watches over the planet. He said, I'll put my own dispensation on the ability for the humans on Earth to have the violet flame, and I'm going to give it to the whales. And the whales then became the violet flame. They carry it. It is in their auric field. And that people had the wherewithal to ask for it would receive it from the whales. And it comes through a quantum DNA connection. We now know that we share the quantum DNA, part of the 12 strands of DNA, with the whales and dolphins. So we're all connected in that way. But the dolphins do it differently. They use their pulse energy, which is like sonar, to scan us. I might share, if you're open to it, a few words from them. Would that be okay?
Please do.
Okay, because they describe it better than you. They say, we are the designated keepers of the human DNA template system. We receive infusions of DNA activations through the Earth's ocean systems from Creator. It is our given task to process this information internally and calibrate the actual DNA that is perfect and right for each person on that day. We hold the energy of love and joy for actual locations on the planet, too, that are experiencing war and chaos. So we work to create frequencies that are infused with these areas with templates of peace and harmony. The dolphin matrix energy supports DNA re-encodement for people and places throughout the energy code systems that we use. The dolphin family of light has created a template for the human DNA and uses it to monitor the overall template for the pure holographic possibilities and equation for humanity and Earth. So as the masters of DNA recalibration, they're able to shift old energies very quickly from the emotional body that's stored in the DNA. They work in a frequency of joy and playfulness that is perfectly suited to the energy of ascension and the new Earth. So there's a lot more, but basically they're saying we're all biological units of light. And we're all holy in the sense of our origins as being children of God. And this is their job. I mean, they absolutely know how to do it. They're completely dedicated to it. And because they're ascended beings, they have no karma. They have no purpose to be here other than to assist and to continue on this path of service that they do. So,
thank you for sharing that. That was very enlightening. Herena, did you want to add anything to the conversation where we're at now, or something that you heard pass by that you wanted to comment on?
Sure, yeah. Just my own personal experience with, when I mentioned had visceral experiences listening to dolphin meditations or when I called them in, I actually felt such energy movement within my body. And also I had one experience where I felt like the synapses in my brain were firing, and like the skin on my scalp was actually moving, and it was so intense that I got a little bit scared at first. It wasn't painful or anything. I just knew that something huge was happening, and of course I had called on them, so I knew that they were working on me. And because I had the open heart and the trust, which is something so important, I just allowed it to continue, and it just has grown since then. So my personal experience has been just calling them in, trusting, and they will come. You will feel them. More recently in the sessions with clients, they've been able to connect with their 3 dolphin guides, and actually have had names for these guides come in spontaneously in the session. So I just think that's pretty cool and amazing every time it happens.
It sure is. Well, in my session with you, with the white whales, so a part of the session is calling them in to be around you while you're going through your light body activation. And the love, I've done a lot of work in this path and shamanic journey work and all kinds of things where it's really heart opening and lots of experiences. The love that I was surrounded by just moved me to tears. It's like, wow, I can feel them here. It was really powerful. So it's amazing stuff. And I think it's beautiful that we can have that experience in our living room and have them right there with us and help us heal and activate.
it really is amazing.
So what else is on the horizon in terms of this educational path, Laurie? What do you see happening next?
Well, this again is the 3rd year, and the first year I would say the students were a little bit guinea pigs with me as I experimented with my manuals and how to best try to structure all that's been given to me over almost 20 years, but yet give them the freedom to channel, because each person's different, right? Each person session is unique, but yet deserves to hear the wisdom that's already been shared. So we've worked on that to get to use the timing, which is most sessions are 90 minutes, and to share as much wisdom as we can, educate them about who the whales are, like we've been doing, and for them to have some basic principles of how the actual living Merkaba of the whale descends down around you in your house and begins the work. And then for the practitioner, facilitator, to be able to channel the voice of the whale at the end and to answer questions and provide a personal message. In fact, that's what I'm getting right now. I'm getting nudged to ask you if we can do a message and maybe a little bit of information directly from the whales. Would that work?
Sure, please.
Okay. So a couple of years ago, I was doing a conference in Florida, and I was having trouble trying to fit the information into one page, to create a media sheet. And I had no idea how I was going to do that. And it was right down to the print deadline, and I was, having anxiety, which I don't normally have. And one of the white whales, Vendicata, came in and he said, "Why don't you let me write it?" And I went, "Okay, yeah." Anyway, in one page, actually a half a page, this is what he said. "Beloved humans, we are your elders, and we are the molecular librarians of Earth's history. We embody conscious creation, and we have the experience and intention to assist you with core level healing. It is our intention to assist humanity in claiming their mastery and restoring your physical forms to radiant health. As you awaken your dormant DNA, you will naturally evolve into awakened geniuses. You will then live and create from your hearts in communities across the globe, where you change the outdated and broken structures of medicine and education, government, and sustainable living. Connect with us now, and we will accelerate your intention to evolve. We are Solution Energy. We are the great white whales, and we represent the cetacean nations of Earth, and we are cosmic creators.
That was beautiful. When did they come in again? Was it 2012?
They did. They started to come on March 3rd, 2012, through the Stargate in Kauai, which is on the northeast corner. My cat actually set that all up for us. She said that we were to go there, to have our retreat there, and that the white whales would return to the Earth. I had no idea what she was talking about. It was a real leap of faith. But we had 68 people go, so a lot of people, got the message to be there to greet them. And when that ceremony was going on, again, Expand Your Consciousness Retreat, I thought this was all energy, which is fine. I mean, I wasn't had a problem with that. I did not know they would come back to the physical at that time. So that was a delightful surprise when they started to be either walk in or be born, onto the planet. The first white whale that appeared is known as Migaloo, and he's still present in Australia. So isn't that exciting?
Yes,
I think it is.
It is exciting. And we've had the most interesting conversations because the white lion came in, and we had a guest that was guided to go to Africa and be a part of that because the white lion spoke to her. And if it weren't for people like you, interspecies communicators that could listen to the animal messages, trust their own guidance, and say, hey, this message is coming through and somebody needs to pay attention. We need to pay attention. That has created some fabulous pathways to healing and taking people to specific points on the planet to awaken and expand our consciousness because of these beings coming through that were so clearly here for the shift, just by their very color. It's like, look at us. We're so different. We have a message for you.
It's awesome. It really is.
It really is.
Really, really is. And, to realize there's so many layers of consciousness that are coming here. We've learned to work with the earth whales for healing and clearing, the ones that are embodied in the ocean right now, and their consciousness, that their soul will actually come to the house, And then we've learned to work with the white whales who are, they told us that they had not all been, there's 12 of them, well, 13 counting the mother whale, but 12 that come to Earth, but they had not been here since the origin of the creation of this planet, all of them together. So it's a huge gift to have that kind of energy here to assist us, because the planet is being cleared, and prepared for ascension. Nobody knows when that's going to be, but we have a lot to clean up, right? I mean, when the world is peaceful is when we will ascend. So we're each day working more towards that, to each person finding a way to live in peace and harmony, and to really integrate their own, what they would call the avatar blueprint. They tell us that this is the time to accelerate your transition as a physical being into reclaiming the divine life blueprint that was set in motion and in place before you were born. So as we expand our consciousness and we come into self-awareness, we can remember that we have the potential with the whales to access the true mastery, the mastery, because everyone here has had a lot of lives. There's no really newbie souls here anymore. Everybody's had a lot of experience, and we're old, trusted souls, even if some of us aren't acting like them. We are. So the beings that are here now have the potential to really become superhuman when they work with the 12 strands of DNA, and when they use their intention to evolve and to become what the whales call a conscious creator. So many people, as you know, are still creating unconsciously. They don't even realize that they are the master of their own reality. They don't know, or they haven't remembered yet law of attraction, which is what we think and what we feel that we bring into form. And once people can be awakened to that, then they can shift very quickly.
Yes, I agree. Well, ladies, the time is flying by, but we've covered some great information on the show today, and I so appreciate both of you being here. One at a time, I want to thank you. So, Herena Julia, your website is awakeninglifeguide.com. I'd like to ask you if there's a parting thought that you would like to leave listeners with today as we part company again.
I want to thank Laurie. Thank you, Laurie, for following your heart and bringing the whales and the dolphins back to us, and allowing me to find a way to actually incorporate into my practice to make it something that is very real. So I want to thank you, Laurie, for that from the bottom of my heart.
Awesome, and I'm so glad you're part of the family now.
And thank you, Sheryl, for having us on, for being open and receptive to the sessions. You still have the Dolphin DNA one left to do. So let
I
me know when you're
know.
ready for that one.
One more.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. And a thought for our listeners?
Well, I would
Yes.
like to tell people that if they're interested in this work, there's a lot of different ways to participate. One is to go to our website, which is lauriereyon.com. And after March 1st, you'll be able to access all of the interns that are graduating with their websites. And Herena is one of those. So she should probably be first on your list since you heard her on the show today, right? And you can set up a session for yourself or a series of sessions for yourself to work on creating light body and activating dormant DNA. Or if you're interested in going into our school, you can participate from a personal intention, which is just to expand yourself and know more with no pressure to perform or complete homework. Or you can come in and study as seeking professional internship and then practitionership, so that you have this under your hat to form, a very lucrative but yet very powerful business. So we welcome both in school. And again, our startup date is coming up April 5th. So we just know the Whales and Dolphins, whatever you decide to do, are asking everyone to move into the Sacred Heart each day and spend as much time as you can there balancing the energies. Because moving your intentions and your daily life decisions from the Sacred Heart will change everything, where you become a conscious creator and you're completely focused on your intention to evolve as opposed to just letting it happen randomly, to really participate. So we turn our consciousness to the truth and wisdom. Each day it will be there for you with the solution energy that you need to be all that you can be and to live a life of joy. So thank you.
Great parting thought. Thank you both so much for being on the show. And thank you, listener, for joining us. I'd love to know what you thought of the show today and show us a little financial support while you're doing so. You can do all of that at journeyofpossibilities.com/support. And make sure to like us on your favorite podcast player so that other people can find the show. And we will see you next time for another episode of Exploring Possibilities.